there, I'm Bonnie McCaffery, and thank you so much for coming back this month. I've come across Lesley Riley here at the Quilt Market, and she does some really fascinating stuff with Lutradur. Lesley, what exactly is this Lutradur?
A Lutradur started out as, well, it is an interfacing material, and it started out as an industrial interfacing for the automotive and furniture industry.
What's it feel like?
Well, Lutradur feels kind of stiff. It's not something you'd want to wear or sleep under. So it's primarily used for mixed media and art quilts and embellishing art quilts.
Before art quilts, what did they use it for?
Okay. Have you ever, when you maybe were littler, gotten under your bed and looked up at the box spring?
I do recognize that. And maybe you've been under your bed and recognized Lutradur. There was a, oh, so maybe we should go to the old mattresses and tear out the stuff.
Right, if you want it for free.
There we go.
But it's not expensive.
Yeah, okay.
You can buy it by the yard. I know some shops started carrying it. It's made by Pellon.
Oh, good.
So they can get it by the bolt or by the roll. But you can also get it by the 8.5 by 11 sheet package through C&T.
Oh,
and that's great for making little books.
Yeah, you're going to show us some neat stuff. Okay, let's take a look at some of the things. Well, first of all, you've written the book on using Lutradur and all the great things you can do with it and the techniques. That's terrific. Okay, so tell me about this little book.
Okay, well, I like to call this my sample book. It's made with the 8.5 by 11 sheets from C&T. But as you see, it comes white. It's pretty boring. But that's the way the industry sells it because they don't care about color when they're under the bed. You know? So you play with it by adding acrylic paints, Dynaflow paints, anything that's an acrylic paint. You don't want a regular heavy-bodied paint. You want something more fluid that's going to be easy to manipulate. Yeah.
Okay.
And then all of these different pages show different techniques. You can burn into it with a craft tool.
And you're going to show us that?
Yes, I will.
Yeah.
And you can get little dimensional elements by zapping it with a heat gun.
Cool.
You can write on it.
Oh.
This is what I call lacing.
Ooh, what a great texture.
That's from the heat tool because it's a synthetic product, so when you put heat on it like Tyvek, it just kind of shrinks and morphs away.
Yeah.
Stamping on it, you can glue paper and other fabric onto it. This has been embossed with the embossing powder and obviously some beads. And just adding pictures. So because it is transparent to some extent and the paints you put on it are transparent, you can use it for layering onto paper and other fabrics. You can lace it here with the heat gun again, and then you get this texture for it. And there's a girl's face.
How'd you get her face on there?
I actually printed it right on Lutradur. I put it right through my printer.
Cool.
Now you can do that.
I think that would probably be good if the printer doesn't have heat on it.
Right, it has to be an inkjet printer.
Okay, there we go. That's probably an important thing to know.
Very important. Some of the other techniques you can do with it is thermofax printing and rubber stamping and screen printing. So anything you can do to fabric, you can do to Lutradur.
And if you'll look at the VidCast, there is a Thermofax VidCast with Maggie Weiss.
That's right. I just watched that before I left for Houston.
Cool?
It was great. Okay, and it's really nice for making books because it's got some body to it.
Yeah, it does. It's kind of like a nice stiff page.
Right, but more flexible, and you still get that fabric feel. Yeah. I'm a fabric girl all the way. This is just a simple book I made by wonder-undering some images that I printed on fabric and then gluing all the embellishments that I like to save. I got lots of nice trims there.
Yeah.
And playing with the edges of the pages too, using the heat tools.
Yeah. That is so neat.
All right. And then foiling.
Oh yeah, we love foiling.
Transferring photos as well.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Neat texture.
Yeah. That's what I like about using the heat tool. You can get all these tiny details that you wouldn't want to sit there and cut.
And you're going to show us that in a minute.
Yeah. Yes, I am.
Stick with us.
Okay. And then one of my favorite things to do with Lutradur is to transfer images onto it.
Okay.
Okay. This is another book I made using larger sheets of Lutradur and just giving it color tints. because Lutradur is translucent and transfers are somewhat transparent.
Yeah.
They're both transparent. They're not translucent. I like the way that the images flow into each other. You can see the front and back.
Now, how did you get these images on here?
These images come from my new product, Transfer Artist Paper.
Oh. Lesley wants to show you what this tap stuff is all about. Now, this is you use tap to transfer this photo.
Right.
And so you're going to show us how you do that using your tap.
Right, okay. And this, you can do this on any type of surface, any type of fabrics, and also some other surfaces, but I'm going to show you on Lutradur because that's another one of the beauties of how it works and how Lutradur works. They go well together.
They do.
Okay, so I've got some Lutradur. I'm using white, but you could do it on a tinted one. And I put a protective fabric underneath just in case any of the inks go through when I iron it. Put it face down. It's an image I printed on the inkjet printer, and I've trimmed it down to size. Hot iron, as hot as it'll go, your highest setting. And then once it gets hot, the polymer on the paper is going to make it stick to the Lutradur or any other fabric, so you don't have to worry about it shifting.
Oh, okay.
And then you just iron it continuously, moving your iron over the surface. Usually takes a few seconds, but you want to make sure that the transfer is complete and all the polymer comes off the paper so that it's washable. Not that you're going to wash the Lutradur, but you might want to wash a t-shirt that you put this on.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm going to peel a corner back and see how it is. Oh, see, it peels easily. When it peels easily, you know it's done.
So just to be clear, you printed your photograph onto the tap paper first.
Right.
And then and that's just from a regular printer.
Right. An inkjet
printer.
Yes.
And then it transfers.
Right.
That is really neat.
So one of the beauties of Lutradur is that you don't always have to just have straight edges. One thing I didn't mention is you can't tear Lutradur. It won't rip.
Oh.
I'm pushing and pulling really hard.
Isn't that interesting?
So you can't tear it by hand. So you can't get like a raveled edge or anything exciting. But what you can do is take the Walnut Hollow Creative Textile Tool. And it's right in the word there, be creative, in the title. So a hot tool will just burn through this like a hot knife through butter.
That is so neat.
You can also work, I like to work in the air sometimes, but if you have a cookie sheet, you can flip that over and work on it like that, or on one of the Teflon sheets too.
Perfect.
Anything
so you could
heat resistant.
cut it intricate designs.
As intricate
and
as you
it's pretty quick. Now you said something about the below hot. What is that thing?
Okay, this is a heat gun.
Okay.
It was primarily designed for embossing, the embossing powders that the rubber stampers use.
Okay.
It's a concentrated form of heat. It's like a hairdryer.
Mm-hmm.
But a hairdryer is not going to get that hot because then we'd all be walking around with charred hair.
I'm thinking we better not use this on our hair.
No, definitely not. It's
No.
not for that
Bald
kind
and
of,
burned.
Yeah. So it's and also you don't want to use the heat gun that your husband or guy might have in his garage because that's even hotter and for peeling paint off the walls.
Oh, okay.
Don't get that one either because then you'll have nothing left.
Oh, okay. So this is
All
made
right.
for crafters.
Yes. It's made for crafters and it's at the craft store
Okay.
in usually the rubber stamp department. Okay. Now it's noisy.
Okay. So tell me what you're going to do before you turn it on.
Okay. When I turn it on, I'm going to let it get hot. Mm-hmm. Immediately it's not real hot, but you let it get hot for a few seconds and then you hold it right where you want to lace or create texture. It's going to make holes and it's going to create texture.
Okay.
And if it's too close, it'll just go like shh and melt away, like Tyvek does.
Yeah.
People use Tyvek. So that's why you want it to be hot before you start so that you're not just sitting there, waiting, and then all of a sudden it disappears because it got real hot.
Okay, so now I noticed that your hand over here is holding it up in the air. Are you worried about that bumping over your hand at all? No.
No. Depends on the techniques you're using. Sometimes you can use forceps or spaghetti tongs if you're doing a lot of it or there's other people around. But it's not going to hit my hand here. I'm not going to hold it here like this.
Right, okay.
So I'm going to be away from the heat and then direct it there and get some texture down here at the bottom of the piece.
All right, let's see a little bit.
Okay. I get it away, and especially if you're working in a classroom or something, you got to make sure that
Nobody's over there.
pointing it at anybody else.
Whoops, sorry.
But you do want to heat it up.
Okay.
So that it's nice and hot.
So would you say 30, 40 seconds?
Not even that long,
Okay.
about 20 seconds. Now, distance is important. If you're going to go right on it, there it goes.
Disappear. Right.
So if you want to just gently do it here and there, you use an in and out motion.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Oh, I see. So it's lacing.
Yeah.
That is so cool. Excellent.
Okay. All right.
So all this is in your book.
All of that is in the book. And more.
And more.
Yes.
And,
lots more.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Now let me throw you a little curveball.
Okay.
I love to throw curveballs.
I should have known. I watched your video.
So Lesley's had time to think of it. I wish I could think of a different question, but I really would like to know what your philosophy of life is.
Well, I am not that original because it's always been just do it.
I love
famous
that.
Nike, you know.
Yeah.
Don't overthink anything. Don't worry about how it's going to turn out. Don't wait until you think you know everything you need to know before you do it. Just do it.
I agree. Thank you so much
You're
for
so
doing this. I
welcome.
think they're going to love it.
This is fun.
And thank you all for coming. I hope you'll come back next month and see what I have for you then. Thanks for being with me.